much did my dividends pie on M1 pay me in dividends last month? Let's find out. Here's a quick snapshot of this pie. As of the recording of this video, I am $9,077.70 in this pie. Now, I know some of these holdings are very, very risky. Some of them are riskier than others in this pie. And I know some of them have a lot of negative things that many investors don't like. But if you've been following my videos, if you've been following my content for a while now, you will know that the holdings I have in this pie, or just about in any of my portfolios, a lot of them are not, hold forever type of holdings, if that makes sense. Some of these holdings are very short term, take advantage of the dividends right now that the market is doing very well. And, the moment that they no longer become useful, for lack of better terms, or, no longer contributing to that goal that I have in my portfolios, I will get rid of them without hesitation. And yes, I am talking about WiMAX. And, if I want to point out in some of my other videos that I've done recently, OT as well. Nonetheless, this isn't financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. So, I say it in all my videos, do your own due diligence. Do your own research. Don't listen to a guy on social media, because you're never going to get anywhere with that. Do your own research. In this pie, WiMAX has 25% of the holdings or of the funds that get allocated to this pie. So it's CRF and CLM. As you guys know, the cornerstones are my favorites, some of my favorites across all my portfolios. I also have SPY and SVOL in this portfolio. SPY holds 50% and SVOL is 10% of the allocations. Here's a better representation of what the funds are doing in this specific pie. Roughly about a month ago, I am up $439.30. Now we get to the nitty gritty part. Now we get to the bittersweet part, and I'll show you what I mean. So this is what I like to call the sweet part, right? So as you can see, net cash flow is $359.92. Market gain is $266.86 as of the recording of this video. So the market gain, right, again, $266.86 paired with dividends earned, which over the last month for this specific pie on this specific portfolio is $172.44. Together, you get that total gain, which is $439.30. Honestly, not too bad if you ask me. I mean, it is what it is. It's not super high, but it's not super low either. And this right here is the bitter part. All right, this is the part that it hurts me every time I see it. So there's only 5 holdings in this pie. Remember, this is a very specific section of a specific portfolio. So on M1, they're called pies. So on this pie, 5 holdings, expense ratio is 0.78%. It might not seem like a lot, but oh my God, this is super high. This is way too high of an expense ratio. Now, I do try to say it in all my videos about that dividend yield. That dividend yield being 29.10 in this specific pie kind of makes up for it, but nonetheless, that expense ratio way too high. Now, I've said it before, this isn't for the faint of heart. This isn't a growth portfolio. I am not a growth investor. I care about dividends, and I care more importantly about dividend growth. Now, I know some of these holdings are not really about dividend growth per se. They're all about dividends, and they're all about weekly dividends, monthly dividends, right? So I'm trying to gain and accumulate as much dividends or as many dividends as I can, reinvest those, build the foundation, right? And I'm doing that through margin on just about all my portfolios. And then whenever I feel comfortable, whenever I reach a goal, I will cut off that margin, have those dividends pay back that margin, right? And then once I'm done with that, whether that takes a couple of months or like a year or two, then all I have left over is just house money. It's just free shares that I never funded, right? Just free cash flow, right? And if those holdings like WiMAX and OT ultimately go down, or if that NAV erosion gets too big, then I'll just, sell them and keep some of the better holdings like CRF and CLM. Nonetheless, guys, do your own research, because again, these are not for the faint of heart. I get comments, I get DMs, and I see it all the time on social media. These holdings are not for everybody, and I know the risk, and I know what it means holding these funds. I know some of these funds, you hold them, you buy them, and instantly your value starts going down. So if you're somebody that likes to see value, likes to see growth, these are not for you. With that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Remember, keep dollar cost averaging, keep investing. Until next one, take care.